Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, following this past weekend's Knockout Chaos card in Saudi Arabia, the narratives following that card and following the conclusion of the main event between Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou are a little hyperbolic, over the top, and in my opinion, are just based on a pack of lies. You know, following this fight, following Joshua's knockout win over Francis Ngannou, which was a brutal knockout, you know, we were sold that Anthony Joshua is the baddest man on the planet, the best heavyweight in the world, and a lot of the post-fight talk, and I expect it from Eddie Hearn, he's the promoter, but a lot of the post-fight talk was about AJ versus Fury, how those guys are basically the number one and number two guys in the division, while essentially just totally ignoring Oleksandr Usyk, ignoring the fact that he's already beaten Anthony Joshua pretty decisively twice, as well as of course being the unified champion at heavyweight. And the post-fight talk following Joshua's win over Ngannou was more so without Usyk being mentioned, without mentioning that Usyk is fighting Tyson Fury in a few weeks' time. But they were all focused on Joshua versus Tyson Fury in a mega showdown. And of course that fight would be mega money, mega interest. It would do huge numbers, we all get that. And of course that's what the powers of be will want, you know. It's the highest profile fight in the heavyweight division, I would say. But the way Usyk was being undermined going into the fight, but especially after the fight, was in my opinion just extremely disrespectful. Especially considering Usyk's done what he's done. He's not exactly like a flash in the pan, just happened to beat Joshua a couple of times and he's done nothing else. This is a guy who's always, you know, looked for the best fights, undisputed at cruiserweight. He's basically what fight fans ask for. A guy who's willing to fight anyone, anywhere, anytime, backyard or wherever it may be. He's fulfilled his obligation to fight fans, genuine fight fans, who just want to see good fights, and who just want to see fighters take risks, and fight who they should fight. So for him to be brushed aside the way he was this past weekend, for me, was very, very disrespectful, and possibly gives us a glimpse in regards to the fact that Usyk may be up against it against Tyson Fury from an officiating point of view. And given the narratives that have been spun after this fight with Francis Ngannou and Joshua, I think it's definitely worth considering the political aspect of Fury versus Usyk, especially when making your predictions when it comes to this fight, and especially if you're going to bet on this fight. So I think we should all be aware of that. And listen, when it comes to these foreign fighters, and when I say foreign fighters, I mean non-Western fighters, when they're fighting the darlings of Western boxing, we know how it goes down usually. Just simple pattern recognition, where we see certain fights take place. Most people feel they went a certain way. However, the judges will score it differently. Kovalev Ward, for example. Golovkin Canelo 1, even 2 to some people's, in some people's opinion. Lomachenko versus Haney, need I go on? And that's definitely a very real possibility in this Tyson Fury versus Usyk fight. The current narrative certainly seems to, well, it makes me believe that there could be some hijinks surrounding this fight. And that could be key in this particular fight because I've felt this way for a while. If this fight is fairly officiated, I don't think Usyk can lose to Tyson Fury. To be honest with you, not from what I've seen from Tyson Fury recently. I see Tyson Fury as a guy who is regressing physically. I see a guy whose foot speed has drastically slowed. I see a guy whose reactions have slowed. Against Chisora, I felt he looked kind of plodding, cumbersome, a little too lackadaisical for my liking. doesn't seem like he has. It didn't seem like he had that dynamism to his game anymore, or to his feints or his movement. It looked very forced to me. Now Chisora couldn't take advantage because Chisora's a journeyman at this stage and shot. But for me, Tyson Fury didn't look good in the Chisora fight. Then of course we have the Francis Ngannou debacle. Whatever you put that down to is what it is, but for me, Tyson Fury hasn't looked great for a while. Dillian Whyte, he got the job done, but prior to the knockout, again, I don't think he was doing anything special in that fight. He arguably lost a couple of rounds to Dillian Whyte. The third Wilder fight, grossly out of shape, got dropped hard. Again, had to grit through it, use his physicality. But again, in terms of actual boxing, I don't think he looked particularly great in that fight either. But mainly, my main concern came from the Chisora fight. I never liked what I saw in that fight, personally. Go back and watch it and see if you can see what I see with Tyson Fury's performance in that bout. But again, what I'm suggesting is, I think Tyson Fury's speed, his agility, his reactions are dwindling, which would make his boxing less effective against Oleksandr Usyk. We know Tyson Fury can box, we know he can move and keep it behind a jab, but those attributes he needs to do that are slowing down. So for me, when I see Usyk versus Fury, I think Fury's main chance lies with the fact that he's bigger, he's stronger, taller, longer, heavier. He needs to make it physical and really make it a rough fight where he's bending the rules, leaning on Usyk, forearm on the back of the neck, elbows, shoulders, all that sort of stuff. That's the sort of fight Tyson Fury needs to make it for him to win this fight, and that's purely going to be down to the referee and how this fight is officiated. I really do think that's going to be a huge factor going into this Tyson Fury-Usyk fight, is the referee. I really, really do. In fact, I think that may even decide this fight. It may even decide this fight. I'm not even saying if Fury does get away with what he may do, I'm not even saying he necessarily beats Usyk, but he would have a much better chance in doing so, in my opinion. Because right now, if it's above board, from what I've seen from Tyson Fury recently, I don't think he beats Usyk. I don't. So they need to start stacking the deck against Usyk in this fight. Because ultimately, if they want the fight that we all know they want, which is AJ versus Fury, they may have to pull a couple of shenanigans. And the sad fact is, if you come out with these claims or statements or accept whatever it may be, oh, you're making excuses for Usyk in case he loses, just totally ignoring patterns, the patterns that we've seen in boxing, just totally ignoring it because you may like Tyson Fury. That's the reality, A lot of boxing fans are clapped. They're probably treble vaccinated, had their boosters. That's what we're dealing with when we talk about A-level Western fighters like Tyson Fury, like Anthony Joshua. These are the types of people we're talking about. Any criticism or any concerns about certain things, these guys just fly off the handle. Bloody, bloody, blah, it is what it is. But yeah, the narratives post AJ Ngannou towards Usyk, or just basically ignoring him like he doesn't exist, were super strange to me. Super strange. But there we go. Anyway, share your thoughts below. Beanie Guy Del Boy. Peace.